After I lost my memory in a car accident, my parents set me up with a blind date and insisted I produce at least one heir. Seeing how pitiful they looked, I softened and agreed. On the day of the date, I immediately noticed a handsome man sitting by the window. Coincidentally, he was at table number 8. I assumed he must be the match my parents had arranged. What I didn't know was that the man was actually my nemesis. I chose him, and we quickly got our marriage certificate. After we registered, my mother called and I realized I had gone to the wrong place and mistaken the person for my blind date. The man's name is Ethan G., he is my mortal enemy. The neighbor's big brother, Benjamin, said I'd made a bold declaration, no matter who I like, it would never be Ethan. Ethan's friend, hearing my voice on the other end of the line, threatened he'd come over at once to help Ethan. The wealthy socialite said of me, arrogant and utterly self-important, before the amnesia she was constantly at odds with Ethan, and if her memory returns, they'll surely get a divorce. My mother said of me, they were very close as children, then their relationship suddenly changed. When I ask her she won't say what happened. I was curious, just based on Ethan's looks alone, I would never have let us become mortal enemies before I lost my memory. So what exactly happened that made our relationship fall apart so badly? I am the only daughter of the Nan family. I refused to marry for years, and my parents were so anxious they could hardly contain themselves. After an accident, I lost my memory, and my parents played the heartbroken victims to win sympathy, insisting I produce an heir. I thought, fine, having a child isn't such a big deal. My parents were overjoyed and immediately arranged a blind date for me. The match was my friend's son, Julian, apparently a real handsome man, with a pair of eyes that could look at a dog and make it feel adored. I agreed. On the day of the arranged meeting, my parents shoved the household register into my hands. Zoe, if you like him, just register the marriage right away. That kid seems solid. I felt my mouth twitching. How scared were they that I'd change my mind? Can people have a little more trust between them? Dad, sorry, before your amnesia you already burned through all our trust. Me. Mom, we've seen that child before, very nice. Alright, my parents have never been wrong about people. If they like someone enough to get a marriage certificate, it's not impossible. Under their eager gaze, I drove away. I arrived at USA Cafe, and the moment I walked in I noticed a remarkably handsome man sitting by the window. What a coincidence, it's table 8 too. I figured my parents must have arranged this blind date. Before I even got close, I had already picked him out. This man's looks matched all my aesthetic points. I sat across from him, met his dog-loving, tender eyes, and felt even more certain he was my blind date. I took the initiative and said, "Hello, are you Mr. G?" The man replied softly, I went straight for it, I like you. Will you marry me? I'm 24, my name is Zoe, no bad habits. I have only one requirement after marriage, of the children we have, at least one must carry my surname. Can you accept that? Man, okay. My family is pressing me, it's best to register the marriage as soon as possible. Me, how soon is as soon as possible? Man, today. I thought maybe my parents had already spoken with his and they were ready to register on the spot, so I agreed. The man seemed afraid I'd run off. He climbed onto my car and stared at me. I didn't expect my parents to be so meticulous, even watching this. But seeing his handsome face was pleasant to the eye. Fine, it's not impossible, I gave up completely. We soon arrived at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau. A well-dressed assistant handed him his household registration book. I was surprised. So you didn't bring your household register? I thought we both had ours. The man said, I was afraid of losing it. Let's go. That was a reasonable excuse. I followed him in and took the photo with a click. The staff quickly prepared the marriage certificate and handed it over. Congratulations, congratulations. The man immediately took both marriage certificates and handed out wedding candies. Me, when did you get the wedding candies? Man, the assistant just gave them to me. Keep the marriage certificates with me for now so they don't get lost. I had just stepped out of the Civil Affairs Bureau when my mom called. "Zoe, where did you run off to? Julian has been waiting for you for 2 hours, how are you still not there?" "Me, we just registered." "Mom, impossible, you must be trying to trick us again. Come back right now." "Me, wasn't the meeting place you say cafe in the south of the city?" "Mom, it's the one in the north." I stopped dead and looked at the man behind me. I really did get my marriage certificate. "Mom, then bring him back with you. No renting a husband." "Oh my God, what do you do when you missed a blind date? Also, who is he?" I hesitated for a moment. "Aren't you called Julian?" The man opened the marriage certificate. "I didn't lie to you." I looked at the name on the certificate, Ethan, but I had mistaken the person. "Should I get a divorce?" Ethan said solemnly, "I can meet all your conditions, and you were the one who first proposed marriage. If you try to back out now, I won't agree." I looked at his handsome face, my heart stirred faintly. We'd already registered the marriage, wasting it without even one taste seemed too much. Besides, you can marry and you can divorce, if it doesn't work later, we'll split. Me, I never said I was reneging, I just want to know how to explain it to my parents. "Ethan, leave it to me." So, like that, I brought Ethan back home. Unexpectedly, there were guests, Ethan's parents. My mother smiled brightly, while my father seemed a bit displeased. Ethan was completely at ease, he came right up and called my parents together with me, "Dad, Mom." My mother, "Good boy, I'll be counting on you to look after our Zoe from now on." Ethan's expression softened as he replied, "Of course, Mom." Then he turned to my father and said, "Dad, I'd like to speak with you alone." The two of them went up the stairs to the study, one after the other. His father Victor and his mother Grace were very warm toward me, constantly praising me, which made me feel oddly embarrassed, but inwardly I was floating from the compliments. Grace gave me a set of top-quality green jadeite jewelry and a pigeon blood diamond necklace. Although I don't need such things, I understood Grace's good intentions. Now that we've registered our marriage, I followed suit and started calling them Mom and Dad. When Ethan and my dad came downstairs, my father did a complete 180 and was as affectionate toward Ethan as if he were his own son. I instantly saw Ethan in a new light. My dad is such a hard-to-please man, yet Ethan managed him, thumbs up to him, impressive. Ethan's eyes and brows curved into a smile, and his already excessively handsome face seemed to glow even more now, unforgettable at a glance. I watched, my cheeks burning, my heart trembling, such beauty is entrancing, I wanted to devour him tonight. I reminded myself silently not to reveal my true nature too soon, what if I scared him off? I haven't even had a single taste yet. After the two families discussed it, they unanimously decided to move the wedding to next month, and Ethan and I agreed. When we parted, Ethan wrapped his arms around me, leaned in close to my face, his gaze was tender and lingering, his breath warm, his voice low, rich, and magnetic as he asked, "Is that all right, wife?" My heart skipped a beat, I swallowed nervously, Ethan took my lips, grinding against me, when I responded, he deepened the long kiss. Just as I was about to be smothered, he finally released my mouth, lightly twining his tongue with mine, soothing the tide of my emotions. My heart trembled, I wanted to throw him down so badly. How infuriating. Why does the wedding have to be next month? I was full of frustration. I held him tightly, unwilling to let go, until I heard my father's soft clearing of his throat behind us. My whole body went rigid. How long had they been looking? Couldn't they let the young couple be a little more affectionate? Ethan chuckled lowly and kissed the tip of my reddened ear. "See you tomorrow, wifey." I reluctantly let go of his hand and replied shyly, "See you tomorrow, hubby." After my shower, wearing a camisole nightgown, I rolled around, thinking about today's kiss, my heart stirring again, I wanted to devour him. I pulled the blanket over my flushed cheeks, his eyes looked like those of someone who adored dogs, and his mouth was pleasing too, a smiling, diamond-shaped mouth. I fumbled for the phone on the bedside table, it was only 10, he probably wasn't asleep. I pinned Ethan to the top of my friends list and sent a cute cat sticker. Me, are you there? Ethan, here, wife. I couldn't contain myself. I really want to see you. Ethan started a video call and I answered immediately. In the video, Ethan was wearing a long-sleeved loungewear top, sitting on the sofa. The room was minimalist in style. I sat up straight, smoothed my hair, and asked sheepishly, "Did I interrupt your sleep?" Ethan smiled with warmth in his eyes. "No, I was thinking about you, wife." My heart fluttered like a fawn, my cheeks burning. "I miss you too." Ethan unbuttoned the collar a little, revealing a hint of a sensual collarbone. I felt a rush of desire and stammered, "What are you doing?" Ethan chuckled softly, a little warm. The tips of my ears burned, a strap slipped from my shoulder. "Where are we going tomorrow?" Ethan's mouth curved in a faint smile, "To the marital home." "Go to bed early, wife." My eyes shimmered, "Good night, husband." Ethan murmured affectionately, "Good night, wife." After I ended the video call, I bashfully covered my face. Did he mean it that way? We're both ours, it wouldn't make sense not to take a bite when it's right there. The next day, Ethan drove to pick me up. My heart fluttered as I got into the car. I looked at him with a reserved, shy gaze, another day enchanted by beauty. The bridal suite was in warm tones, cozy and lovely, exactly my style. Ethan wrapped his arms around me from behind. "Happy with it?" "Wife." My heart pounded like thunder. "Very happy." I turned and hugged his lean waist, feeling giddy inside, dizzy with joy. I looked up at him, my lips slightly parted, a silent invitation. Ethan lowered his head and kissed my lips, a tangled, gentle kiss, our breaths mingling, only the soft smack echoing in my ears. I melted in his arms, curling my fingertips. Ethan's sexy Adam's apple bobbed as he asked softly, "Is this okay?" "Wife." I wrapped my arms around his neck and replied shyly, "Mm." Ethan carried me into the bedroom, lay me down, and we spent the entire day in exquisite intimacy. The next day, I received an invitation to a banquet. It was Ben's birthday party. Ben is the big brother next door. It said we were a golden couple before I lost my memory. Our families also have business ties, so I couldn't not go. I told Ethan about it. It turned out he'd also received an invitation, so we could go together. Ethan kissed me. "Honey, do you still love Ben?" I blurted out, "Of course I don't, I have amnesia, I only love you." I felt his body tense for a moment, then he kissed me more passionately. "Honey, you'll only ever love me, right?" I felt his unease and answered him back with equal warmth, "I only love you. No one else." The birthday party was next door to my house. I put on an evening dress and arrived on time. Ethan came a bit later. The moment I walked in, Ben came up to me with a drink. "Zoe, long time no see." I looked at the gentle, handsome man before me and guessed he must be Ben. "Sorry, I have amnesia, I can't remember a lot of things." Ben was surprised. "No wonder you didn't message me these past 2 months, turns out you had amnesia." I was puzzled. "Message about what?" Ben took me upstairs and said we should talk privately. In the room upstairs, after asking me a few baffling questions, Ben pressed his hand to his forehead. "It seems you don't remember anything," he said. I was puzzled. "Is it important?" Ben smiled. "Not to you, but very important to me." Only after his explanation did I understand. I was the spy he had placed beside his close friend Summer, responsible for feeding him information about her. And he would shield me from romantic entanglements, from arranged dates. That's why I broke my promise to my parents. Before I lost my memory, I always used Ben as a scapegoat. Whenever my parents set up a blind date, he pretended to be my boyfriend and ruined it for me. Ben rubbed my head. "It's okay if you forgot." This scene was seen by Ethan, who had just pushed the door open. I was about to explain, but Ben wrapped an arm around my waist. I looked at him in astonishment, not understanding why he was doing this. Ethan forcefully pulled me away from Ben and into his arms, his gaze razor-sharp as he looked at Ben. Have some respect. Zoe is my wife now, we've registered our marriage. Ben was stunned. When did that happen? Ethan, the day before yesterday. I looked at Ben. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to tell you. Ben's face grew grave. Zoe, could Ethan be deceiving you? Didn't you used to hate him the most? I hate Ethan, no way, I'm someone who cares about looks, there's no way I could hate the strikingly handsome Ethan. Before I could explain, Ethan tightened his hold on me and carried me out of the room. Ben, Ethan is your arch-rival. Whoever you like, it won't be him, that's what you used to say. I was stunned. I could never have said that about someone who fit my taste like Ethan. And Ethan is my arch-rival? Ethan squeezed me tighter and warned Ben, please stay away from my wife. Then he said to me, honey, shall we go back? I knew Ethan was jealous, so I grabbed his hand. I think the three of us need to have a serious talk. I couldn't explain why, only that some part of me didn't want any more misunderstandings between us. I pulled Ethan back into the room and closed the door behind us with a flick of my hand. I looked at Ben. Why did you wrap your arm around my waist the moment you saw Ethan come in? If it weren't for my reputation, I'd have clocked you already. Ethan and Ben stared at me in shock, as if they didn't recognize me. I lifted my chin arrogantly. Put away that clueless look. I'm a 9th-degree black belt, smashing your heads in would be child's play. Ben wiped his brow and looked at Ethan with sympathy. Ethan, on the other hand, calmed down as if the one who had just been jealous and nervous hadn't been him. I glared at Ben fiercely. Aren't you going to confess? I really will use my hands. Ben admitted frankly, wasn't that what you used to ask? Whenever Ethan was around, pretend to be intimate. I didn't expect that after losing your memory you'd turn so cold. And now you're using violence on me, it's been so hard for me. I was shocked, that couldn't be right. Why would I have made such a request? Ben explained everything in front of Ethan and me. Before my amnesia, Ethan and I were arch-rivals. When I saw Ethan had a girlfriend, I couldn't stand it, so I asked Ben to pose as my boyfriend. Wherever Ethan went, I had to put on a display of affection. After hearing it, I thought my past self was a fool. How could I have done something so stupid? Ethan held no grudge against Ben after hearing it, the two even raised cups of tea to each other and drank like old friends. I was left speechless, I could not understand the bond between men at all. What about that girlfriend? I grabbed Ethan's tie and pulled it tight, my tone laced with danger. You actually had a girlfriend before? The intimate things you did with me, you did them with her too? Ethan took my waist, his affectionate eyes glinting faintly, staring at me with single-minded focus as if I were the only person in his world. My heart skipped a beat, I froze for a moment, then suddenly yanked his ear and said coldly and remorselessly. Don't try to seduce me. I'll teach you a lesson tonight. Confess right now or don't expect to sleep, I'll wear you out. Ethan's tender gaze faltered in an instant, his expression priceless. Ben spat out a mouthful of tea and started coughing violently. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I said disdainfully, you're an adult, overreacting about something so small. Can't you be a little more composed? Ethan took my hand and kissed it. Honey, you're the only one for me. I've never had a girlfriend. Yesterday was my first time, and I saved it all for you. I kept my face cold. Then what's this about a girlfriend? Rumors don't come from nowhere. If you never dated anyone, why would Ben say that? Ethan looked at Ben helplessly, hoping he'd explain. Ben shrugged, cleared his throat, and said, I don't really get it either. The woman's name seemed to be Jessica, I heard you mention her before you lost your memory. I actually believed him for a moment. Rubbing Ethan's face with both hands, I said dangerously, all right, you dare to lie to me? Don't want to live, is that it? Ethan glanced helplessly at Ben, who was enjoying the spectacle, and explained to me, there's a senior named Jessica who's been very friendly to me. I turned her down, really. If you don't believe me, you can ask my friends. They all know. I grabbed his cheeks and pulled outward. Take out your phone, put it on the table, and dial your friend's number. Ethan did as he was told and called his friend. Beep, someone picked up in a second. Hey, Ethan, perfect timing. Come out and hang. That kid Liam brought 3 sisters, pure as can be. You in? Ethan's face darkened. Ben looked like a bystander enjoying the show. I shot Ethan a sly look. Didn't expect you to be having so much fun on the side. Ethan grabbed my hand. Listen, let me explain, I'm not. A voice came through the phone. Ethan, who are you talking to? That voice sounds familiar, kind of like your mortal enemy. You two met up and started fighting again? Want me to come over and help? I let go of Ethan, feelings tangled, so we really were mortal enemies. But that can't be right, with that face, I would never let us become sworn foes. Ethan hugged me nervously, speaking fast into the phone. Have Jessica and I dated? On the other end, Ethan, are you amnesic? Jessica did have a thing for you, but you turned her down. Ethan hung up and said to me, honey, I really never dated Jessica. Fine, I guess I misunderstood before and did something stupid. I jabbed his chest with my finger and asked another thing. Do you guys often take girls to hang out? Ethan explained, the girl's Liam's, I didn't even look once. I grabbed his collar with both hands, my presence 280 centimeters, what? You want to take a peek? Ethan leaned down and kissed me. I only look at you, not anyone else. I turned my head, snorted, you're lucky you know better. Ben teased, alright, enough, I'm stuffed on dog food. I straightened Ethan's collar. Why hasn't your banquet started yet? Ben teased, so impatient? TSK. I shot him a look. If you see it, don't say it, don't you get it? Ethan softened. Honey, when he cuts the cake, we'll leave. Ben, fine, start the banquet now. At the party I had drunk too many drinks and went to the restroom. Just as I stepped in, I heard 2 women talking. I never expected Zoe and Ethan, those 2 sworn enemies, to be together. Yeah, remember when Zoe said she could never be with Ethan? This is a real slap in the face. I heard it's amnesia. If she hadn't lost her memory, they'd never be together. At every event they meet, it's like gunpowder in the air, there's clearly something between them. I told you, they're always at each other's throats, there's no way they could ever be together. Turns out she just lost her memory. You think if Zoe gets her memory back she'll file for divorce? I heard they've already registered their marriage. That's very likely. Zoe's so proud and arrogant, if she divorced him, what a joke that would be. The 2 women chattered as they left the restroom. I opened the bathroom door, feeling ever more puzzled. Why had Ethan and I always been at odds? Ethan is the kind of person who has grown into the soft spot in my heart. For those who live in that soft spot, I have always been gentle. I was eager to know the answer. I know I have the habit of keeping a diary, that diary must have been hidden by me. I ran back home and saw my mom sitting in the living room watching TV. Me, Mom, were Ethan and I arch enemies before, our relationship really terrible? My mom, surprised at the sudden question, answered honestly, yes, when you were little you 2 were very close, but in high school it suddenly went bad. I ask you and you won't tell me. I felt uneasy, something irretrievable must have happened back then, otherwise, knowing myself, I would never have become mortal enemies with Ethan. I ran upstairs, went into the bedroom, and closed the door. For important things I usually kept them in a compartment in the wardrobe. I pulled out a stack of photos and a diary from the compartment. I opened the diary and began reading from the start. It turned out Ethan and I had been childhood sweethearts. The diary recorded the little moments from when we went to school together. February 3rd, XX, clear. I went skiing with Ethan. It was his first time and his balance wasn't as good as mine, he actually slid right into the restroom. I laughed until I could hardly breathe, and in the end I hauled him out. I stepped on his snowboard and said I'd take him for a ride, and we tumbled down the slope together. He looked at me with wounded resentment, his nose injured from the impact, and I laughed so hard I could barely breathe, promising there wouldn't be a next time. February 8th, XX, clear. On New Year's Eve, Ethan, his friends and family, and I were playing cards. For 10 rounds straight he lost to me, ha ha ha, his luck was a bit off. I felt sorry for him, so I offered to swap seats. Who knew that in the next 5 rounds he still lost and I kept winning. Ha ha ha, when luck comes, you can't stop it. February 14th, XX, clear. Ethan took me shopping. We passed a ring toss stall, and I set my heart on a little dinosaur, but no matter how I tried I couldn't win it. I was a bit downcast. Ethan took a ring from my hand and slipped it on at once. I watched with shining eyes, it was so impressive. I had the most wonderful day playing. The first half of the diary is all happy times, until that day in high school when everything changed. October 15th, XX, overcast. I don't know why we suddenly started fighting, Ethan and I. I was blinded by anger and said many cruel things. In the end I even mocked and attacked his physical imperfections, and things spiraled out of control. I regretted my words the moment they left my mouth, but I had gone too far to take them back. Sorry. I'm really sorry, I was wrong. I was stunned, 3 whole pages of apologies. I must have been overcome with guilt at the time. I looked at the diary. After that day, before the amnesia, Ethan and I had fallen out. I felt guilty and restless, yet too proud to yield, so we stopped speaking to each other. We never spoke again, not even when Ethan's family moved away. It wasn't until we met again at university that I realized my feelings for Ethan were something different. November 20th, XX, clear. I think I've long liked Ethan, but we've been apart so long that I don't even know how to start a conversation. What should I do? I so want to talk to him. December 3rd, XX, overcast. Today I went to a gathering, and to my surprise Ethan was there too. I've been watching him quietly for a long time. I wanted to go over and apologize, but so much time has passed that I don't know how to begin. However, once again by accident, we found ourselves at odds during that gathering, and I realized that aside from goading him with words, I couldn't find any other way to communicate. From then on, every time I attended a gathering, I would start with provocation and quarrel just so I could get Ethan to speak to me, and afterward I would quietly regret it. The diary was filled with entries about wanting to see him, wanting to talk to him, my heart was full of him. December 23rd, XX. Rain. I never felt the university was so vast. In such a small place, I had only run into him twice, passing each other like strangers. My heart was a thunderstorm, icy and piercing, wandering and shouting, I so wanted to talk to you. I miss you so much, I miss you. Throughout my entire university life I secretly watched Ethan, wanting to get close but not knowing how, my heart tormented all the while. After graduation, living in the same city, I scarcely saw him except at business functions. May 6th, XX, clear. A friend asked me to stop by USA Cafe in the south of town to bring her a cup of coffee, and I unexpectedly found Ethan waiting for his coffee at table 8. I was so surprised. June 2nd, XX, sunny. I don't love coffee, it's too bitter, but so I could meet you again, I drank it. Table 8. I hope you'll come back next time. June 20th, XX, sunny. My parents are pressuring me to marry, but I refuse. I know what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for Ethan, clinging to that faint, slim chance. Please, God, help me, I beg you. I so want to be with Ethan, I want it so much. July 5th, 20XX, rain. My heart was like the overcast rain. Ethan actually has a girlfriend now, called Jessica. Is it impossible between Ethan and me forever? My heart hurts so much. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said those hurtful things to you back then. I looked at the page filled with apologies, the marks of teardrops. I must have cried so sadly then. My heart ached along with it. I closed the notebook. It turned out the person I loved was only him. It wasn't a sworn enemy, but a secret crush. Because the fallout was too extreme and the damage irreparable, it led to a string of foolish acts afterward, and from then on we became strangers. I picked up that stack of photos, portraits of the two of us through the years. In the high school graduation photo, Ethan is standing right behind me. I must have been secretly pleased at the time. In the college graduation photo, we weren't in the same major, so he isn't in the group shot. I unexpectedly found an individual photo taken at the college gate, and my little scheme was obvious at a glance. In my solo shot, the background passerby always happens to be Ethan. Maybe everyone was posing at the gate and he just happened to be there too. I slyly made sure he was captured in the frame. There was a knock at the door. "Ethan, honey, why didn't you wait for me?" I hurriedly shoved the photos and notebook into the drawer. Then I opened the door as if nothing had happened, only to be swept into his arms and hugged tightly. I looked at his reddened eyes and the tears he was holding back, my heart aching. I returned the hug and tightened my hold. "Why are you crying?" Ethan buried his face in the hollow of my neck and said hoarsely, "You regret it, don't you?" Me, what would I regret? Ethan, knowing we're mortal enemies, regret marrying me? You used to hate me. Hate me? Impossible, I missed you until I went mad. I kissed his chin. I have never regretted it. I like you, more than you think. Ethan, the you before the amnesia didn't like me. I shot back, I like you at all times. Sensing his unease, I cupped his face. My room has good soundproofing. Want to try it? Ethan hesitated. But Dad is still waiting for me to finish the game. I kissed his lips, licking and drawing him in seductively. Don't worry about that. If Dad sees you don't come down, he'll know what we're up to. He's been pushing for an heir. Do you want me to tell him you can't? A man can't just say he can't. Ethan seized the initiative, kissing fiercely and urgently. I answered with equal passion, this is the person I love, finally I can have him whenever I want. That night Ethan was unusually fierce. I almost couldn't hold up. I really need to train more. In the morning I got up and went downstairs, then suddenly the world went dark and I tumbled down the stairs. Before I lost consciousness I heard Ethan calling my name in panic. When I came to, groggy, the smell of disinfectant was all around and a doctor was talking to Ethan. "Doctor, your partner has amnesia from the car accident and a hematoma in the skull. After this examination we found signs that the blood clot is resolving, which is good news. Your partner should soon recover their previous memories." Ethan, thank you. After the doctor left, I whispered, "Honey, don't worry, I'm fine." When he turned around, I saw his reddened eyes. Clearly he'd been crying. Since when did Ethan become such a sorrowful puppy? I took his hand and kissed it. "Honey, it's my fault. I wasn't paying attention to the road. I won't make you worry next time." Ethan bent down and held me gently. "After you regain your memories, will you still love me the way you do now? I can't stand your indifference any longer." I put my arms around his neck, my expression earnest. "Ethan, whether before or now, I only love you." "Ethan, honey, I'm going to take that seriously." "Me, I'm telling the truth." Ethan obviously didn't completely believe me, but I felt too embarrassed to show him that notebook. It contained the most important secret in my heart. That I love you, Ethan. I had just been discharged and been home a week when, once again, my vision went black and I collapsed to the floor. My memories came back, the joyful years and the painful, bitter ones all returned. I looked around and noticed Ethan wasn't there, and asked, "Mom, where's Ethan?" My mother wore a worried expression. "That boy Ethan said he wants to postpone the wedding. Did something happen between you two?" I said, "Mom, don't worry. I'll bring him back." I look back on the stupid things I've done over the years and wish I could slap myself hard enough to knock sense into me. I left Ethan with a deep psychological scar. Ethan is just a coward. He's scared, afraid of divorce, and has gone into hiding. It's my fault. I made too big a scene before, and he no longer has faith that I still love him. My phone pinged with a message. It was from Grace. Zoe, I heard from Ethan that your memories have come back. I want to say that no matter what happened before, could you give Ethan a chance? He really loves you. Come to the old house, I have something to show you. After I was discharged, I went straight to the G family. As soon as I stepped through the door, I asked, Mom, where's Ethan? Grace sighed. I don't know where he ran off to, crying his eyes out. Come with me. Grace led me up to Ethan's room and stopped in front of a safe. Grace, this is Ethan's secret. The password should be your birthday. She said that and left me alone in the room, closing the door behind her. What could Ethan's secret be? I entered my birthday, and with a click the safe actually opened. Inside I saw a video camera and a stack of photographs. I picked up the photos. They were pictures of the two of us from my childhood through to the present. He had even kept my high school graduation photo in perfect condition. As I flipped further down, the rest were all pictures of me from my university years. My heart gave a jolt. When did Ethan sneak these photos of me? How had I never noticed? Me reading in the library, me playing tennis on the court, me attending class in the classroom, me running during drills, me eating ice cream, me holding a huge watermelon, and many, many more versions of me, and I had actually believed we'd only met twice at school. Ethan had been hiding in the shadows, taking secret photos of my every move. I even saw the picture at the university gate, a shot taken from his perspective. In his personal photos, all the passers-by in the background were me. And there were photos he'd taken of me alone. After university came the photos of me at business banquets. At the very bottom was a picture of me sitting at table 8, drinking coffee, warm golden light, me rendered romantically. Each one was captured beautifully. While I was secretly in love with Ethan, I hadn't expected that he was quietly in love with me too. I suddenly realized how foolish I had been. If he was in my heart all along, why hadn't I said something sooner? I had wasted so many years. I thought of the day of the arranged meeting, of Ethan speaking with my father alone. I called my dad, and he picked up. Hello, Zoe. Dad, what did you and Mom say upstairs the day Ethan and I registered our marriage? Ethan said he'd liked you for a long time. He asked me to give him a chance, that he would love you well, and if you regained your memory he would respect all your decisions. Thanks, Dad. That idiot Ethan. I dialed Ethan's number and said forcefully, get back to the old house immediately, or you'll be sleeping on the floor tonight. Ethan's voice trembled with obvious sobs. Honey, hurry up. I hung up. Ethan injured his right hand as a child and couldn't lift it, so he used his left. Many people mocked him for being left-handed, which made him somewhat withdrawn and taciturn, carrying a bit of inferiority. I was one of his few friends. At the time our families were still neighbors, and we went to and from school together almost every day. Later I dragged him out more often, and his personality gradually opened up. He began to laugh more, and as he grew up he became a sunny boy who loved to smile. In high school I was impulsive and vain, and for some inexplicable reason I got into an argument with Ethan. Anger clouded my mind, classmates nearby egged us on, and I, with no filter, insulted him for being left-handed. Being left-handed was the wound he cared about most, and I had become one of those mocking him. I immediately regretted it, but I couldn't bring myself to apologize. I could only keep apologizing in my diary. It was an episode that had gone too far to be mended. After that, Ethan avoided me, and I avoided him. I felt overwhelmingly guilty and couldn't face him. The hurt in his eyes that day was seared into me, a constant, stinging pain. After starting college, I realized I had long been in love with Ethan and wanted to make peace, but my hand would no longer meet his. Instead, I pushed him further away. He, timid and afraid I would hurt him again, kept his distance while still watching me. I covered my eyes, tears spilling out through the gaps. What foolish things have I done? I'm such an idiot. Ethan hurriedly opened the door. Honey, what are you doing here? Honey, are you crying? I buried myself in his arms, wrapped my arms around his waist, and the tears streamed down in torrents. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have insulted you in high school, I shouldn't have mocked you, please forgive my impulsiveness back then. I'm sorry, Ethan, I'm the one at fault, it was my mistake. A hot tear from Ethan fell into the hollow of my shoulder. Honey, I forgive you. Will you love me forever? I held him tightly. I've always loved you, only you. In college I didn't want to argue with you, but I was so stupid then, I didn't know how to communicate, so I could only talk to you by fighting. Can you forgive my foolishness? It's my fault, I was thoughtless, I didn't realize sooner that you liked me too, wasting all those years. Can you forgive me? Husband. I will love you forever from now on, love only you, only you. Ethan kissed me. I forgive you, wife. You're silly, I'm silly too, we'll be a pair of foolish dummies together. I responded to his teasing, okay. Ethan suddenly stopped. Wife, my room isn't soundproof. I tugged his head down and met his dog-eyed gaze. It's fine, I can be quieter. To make up for past regrets, I took Ethan back to our university, donned the academic gowns, and had our graduation photos taken again. This time it was the two of us in the same frame, sweetly interacting in the shots. Right after the shoot, Ethan got a call from a friend. On the other end, hey, Ethan, bring your wife, let's hang out, same old place. Ethan hung up and asked me, honey, do you want to go? If you don't want to, we won't. I put on a bright smile, of course we're going. I knew all four of Ethan's friends, as long as I didn't feel awkward, anyone else would. Putting pride aside and enjoying life is the right way. Ethan drove me to their usual spot, which turned out to be a tennis club. As soon as we walked in, we saw four stylishly different handsome guys and a trio of pure, alluring girls playing tennis. Alex ran over when he saw us, his smile radiant. Ethan, sis-in-law, you came at the perfect time, we're just warming up. Alex looked at me and immediately began to explain, I know about the last call. Don't listen to Liam's nonsense. Those three girls, well, those three over there are my cousins. They studied abroad until recently. My uncle asked me to take them out for a bit of fun, nothing more. Jessica did pursue Ethan for a while, but Ethan always turned her down cold. I guarantee there was absolutely nothing ambiguous between Jessica and Ethan. Ethan was clearly pleased and gave Alex a grateful look. I smiled and said to Alex, thank you. Alex smiled too. Ethan told me, sis-in-law, you're pretty good at tennis. Want to play a match? Me, sure. Ethan took me to his private changing room, where I changed into workout clothes. When did you prepare these for me? The day we got our marriage certificate. Looking into his tender eyes, I kissed his cheek. Thank you, husband. Ethan hugged me and kissed me, only letting go after a long while. I'm so happy, wife. On the tennis court, Ethan and I were paired against Alex and Liam, the others cheering us on. Thud thud thud, the sound of tennis balls hitting the net, footsteps pounding, cheers echoing over the club. Wow, sis-in-law, great shot. Ethan, the winner buys dinner. Ha 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 Liam, your butt is showing. Whoa damn it that was too rough, Liam. Ethan, you have to take responsibility, it was you who hit the ball and that's why my pants tore. Sis-in-law, you have to make the call for me. I laughed until I gasped, haha make Ethan compensate you. Ethan couldn't help grinning, alright. Alex came over carrying a milk tea and complained to me, sister-in-law, you don't know, Ethan doesn't like coffee. Yet he keeps bringing us coffee every time, we're about to throw up. I laughed, fine, I'll give him a proper talking to when I get home. That night. Ethan clung to me, wife, I heard you're going to discipline me? I flipped back on top, commanding the scene like a queen, looking down at him, that's right, I'm going to teach you a proper lesson. Ethan chuckled softly, his hand on my waist, his tone irresistibly tempting, my lady wife, then please teach me well. Good heavens, such beauty was hard to resist, my poor waist nearly gave way. The wedding arrived as scheduled. Friends and family gathered below, all smiles. On stage the master of ceremonies beamed, please invite the groom to place the ring on the bride. Ethan's fingertips trembled slightly with nerves as he took the pink diamond ring and carefully slid it onto my ring finger. He held my hand and gave it a gentle kiss, an indescribable reverence. My heart leapt. This moment would be burned into my heart forever, unforgettable for a lifetime. The master of ceremonies announced, "May the bride please place the ring on the groom." I picked up the understated, luxurious men's ring and placed it on the ring finger of his right hand, kissed that right hand lightly, and apologized again in my heart, for having once denigrated that hand. Ethan gently squeezed my hand back, a happy light in his eyes. The master of ceremonies announced, "All right, groom, you may kiss your bride." Whistles blew from the audience, the atmosphere lively. His four-man crew started chanting in unison, "Kiss her, kiss her." I climbed up onto Ethan's shoulders and kissed him, meeting his stunned yet delighted gaze. This man was finally mine. Laughter and hoots erupted from the crowd. "Whoa, sister-in-law is fierce, Ethan, go for it, show some husbandly pride." Ethan wrapped his arms around my waist, cupped my face with one hand, took the lead, and deepened the kiss. The audience watched excitedly and let out a chorus of wow. My cheeks burned from the kiss, and while the lake of my heart churned with waves, Ethan lifted me up and carried me out of the wedding hall. Amidst everyone's blessings, we set off on an impromptu honeymoon. On the seaside at sunset, weary birds returned to their nests and cried out now and then, echoing the brilliant dusk, tranquil and tender. The sea breeze played with my hair, and a slender fingertip tucked a strand behind my ear. I gently rested my hand on the one by my face and looked up at him. "I have a secret to tell you." Ethan looked at the dog with tender eyes and met my gaze. "What secret?" I smiled, eyes crescent-shaped. "I don't like drinking coffee, because you're here." Ethan leaned down, his forehead against mine, his gaze lingering, and kissed me deeply. "I don't like drinking coffee either, because you're here." "Zoe, I don't like drinking coffee, because you're here. I am willing to savor the bitter coffee slowly, quietly waiting for your arrival." "Ethan, I don't like drinking coffee either, but because you're here, I'm willing to slowly savor the bitter brew and quietly gaze at your smiling face."